Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati taraham bhakti uparitam asnami prayatatmana. Translation: if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept. Text 27. Yat karoshi yarashnasi, yat juhoshi dadhasi yat tapasyasi gundeya, tat kurushva marapanam. Translation: O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. Text 28. Shubha Shubha Palayevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaye Sannyasa Yoga Yukatma Vimukto Mam Upayashasi. Translation: in this way you will be freed from all reactions to good and evil deeds, and by the principle of renunciation you will be liberated and come to me. Text 29. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasti na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktyam haite te shuchapyaham. Translation: I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Text 30. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. Translation: even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. Text 31. Shipram bhavati dharmadma sasvats chantim nigachati kunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. Translation: he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Text 32. Mam hi partha vyapasritya yepi supapayonaya striyo vaishastata shudras tepi anti param gatim. Translation: O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination. 633. King Punan Ramana Punyam Bhakta Raja Shayastata Anityam Asukam Lokam Imam Prapya Vajaswamam. Translation: how much greater then are the Brahmanas, the righteous, the devotees, and the saintly kings who in this temporary miserable world engage in loving service unto me. Text 34. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasi yukta evam atmana matpurayana. Translation: engage your mind always in thinking of me. Offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Back to text 24. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam vijananti tattvanatas chavanti te. Translation: I am the only enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true nature, transcendental nature, fall down. Purport: here it is clearly stated that there are many types of yajna performances recommended in the Vedic literatures, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yajna means Vishnu. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that one should only work for satisfying Yajna or Vishnu, the perfectional form of human civilization, known as Varnashrama Dharma, is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says in this verse, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the supreme master. However, less intelligent persons, without knowing this fact, worship demigods for temporary benefit. Therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. If, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord, although that is not pure devotion, and he will thus achieve the desired result. Krishna says this more or less again in chapter 18, he says, or 15, maybe it's 15. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suridam sarva suridam what is it, Prabhu? Oh, suridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantam ritsati. Chapter 5, yeah. Chapter 5, where it says that he's the enjoyer and he's the object of sacrifice. But those who do not recognize his true transcendental nature fall down. So what is his transcendental nature? Krishna's transcendental nature is Ajopi Sannavya Yatma Bhutanam Ishwaropi San Prakritim Swamadishtaya Sambhavam Yatma Mayaya. That his transcendental nature is that he's unborn. He's transcendental. So his body never deteriorates. He's eternal. He's beyond the clutches of the material nature. He's beyond time and space and all these different things. That's his transcendental nature. As God, as the Lord of all living entity, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. He's the Lord of all living beings. All living beings are but his part and parcels. And so one who does not recognize that falls down. So in other words, Krishna's form is transcendental and it's of the superior and spiritual energy of the internal potency. So the Lord has different potencies. You get the internal potency and he's got the external potency and he's got the marginal potency. And the whole material creation is just a bunch of, it's like a kaleidoscope of his different energies. And the living entity has to choose. So if you don't choose to be situated in the internal potency, the higher spiritual nature, then one has to take the lesser platform, material nature, and even further. And on that material platform, one has to choose between three predominating modes of nature: goodness, passion, and a mix of these. You know, one can be predominantly situated in the mode of goodness and take birth amongst the demigods, the higher beings, the Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Charanas. That one can be situated in the mode of passion, take birth among the human beings, the various types of human beings. And then one can be situated in the mode of ignorance and take birth among the animal species. Chorus starts off when one enters, when the living entity first comes to the material world, he takes birth as Lord Brahma. And then from there, gradually, he comes in contact with the different modes of nature, goodness, and then he gets entangled in that, and then further falls from his original spiritual platform. But Krishna says, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha taktvateham punar janma naiti mameti sarjuna. That one who knows the transcendental nature of his activities and his appearance, his pastimes, then that person attains his transcendental nature. It's knowledge of the Lord. Yagya means sacrifice. Yagya is also a name of Vishnu, but particularly, Krishna says that he's particularly pleased by sacrifices of knowledge. So when we engage our intelligence and our knowledge acquiring senses in Krishna, to know this Krishna conscious philosophy and to teach it, to preach it, that's particularly very pleasing to Krishna. There's different kinds of yagya. There's like, one can sacrifice his material possessions, Krishna's pleasure, that's nice, that's pleasing, but even more so is to sacrifice the intelligence, sacrifice the knowledge. You know. And the beginning of that process is to approach the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide spiritual master is somebody who knows of the different kinds of sacrifices and which one is the best. All living entities in the material world are performing so many austerities and so many sacrifices just to maintain their existence here. But more or less, they're all kind of useless because you can't actually maintain your existence here. There's no hope of doing so. So birth after birth, spending so much effort doing this, there's no hope. It's just a waste of time. So approaching the spiritual master, one can actually learn of what's the best use of one's time. You know, who actually am I, first of all? You know, because if I think I'm the body and I'm performing sacrifices in that consciousness, then I'm going to be frustrated. Shishigoni Tai Kijai. I'm going to be frustrated because they're not the body. So everything that I'm working for will be temporary ultimately. All the fruits will be temporary. And because also I'm not the supreme enjoyer, I won't even be able to enjoy them. You know? No, it's just not a good system. But if one knows who he is, practically speaking, he can engage in sacrifice from that platform. He can work from that platform. And he can attain the highest, most confidential kind of knowledge, which is knowledge of Krishna, of God himself. You know, and with that knowledge comes bliss, comes ananda, comes real happiness. Because with that kind of knowledge, one can relish such a nice relationship with the Lord, you know, factually. Um, let's see here. But still, if one is on that platform of worshiping for some temporary benefit, they'd still better go to Krishna for that. So this Krishna consciousness movement is very beneficial for all classes of men. Men who are on the liberated platform as well as those who are on the material platform. This movement is meant for all living entities. Okay, let's see. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Translation: those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. Purport: if anyone has any desire to go to the moon, the sun, or any other planet, one can attain the desired destination by following specific Vedic principles recommended for that purpose. These are vividly described in the fruit of activities portion of the Vedas, technically known as Darsha Purnamasi, which recommends a specific worship of demigods situated on different heavenly planets. Similarly, one can attain the Pita planet by performing a specific yagya. Similarly, one can go to many ghostly planets and become a yaksha, raksha, or pishacha. Pishacha worship is called black arts or black magic. This kind of black magic and black arts is particularly, you can see this kind of stuff in India. We have some stuff in the West too. It's called witchcraft generally. And it's more or less kind of the same. They do things like they like cast spells on people, you know, and if you're envious, you can do this, you know, you can kind of like you create some little, it's like all in mode of ignorance. They'll use bones and jars full of weird things and put some kind of spell in there, and you know they'll try to summon a venomous serpent to bite somebody and assassinate somebody, or you know do weird things like that, or they'll put ghosts on people. You know about this food? You want to say anything about it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We had one Sunday feast. We had one guy come, and he's an older gentleman, meet Maharaj, and he was. It was the first time he'd been here. He was in distress because he was saying that somebody had put somebody put some evil spirit on him, and so he was looking for something to help. He's looking for a mantra to help. Maharaj gave him the Maha Mantra, but he said Maharaj said something that was really nice. He said, "This will help with your evil curse, but don't be surprised if you get much more than you're asking for with this one." So he said, I thought that was really nice, you know. And ultimately, yeah, this see, that's kind of a material request, is like one who's in distress. It's kind of the mode of passion. Somebody's in distress approaches Krishna. Best thing to do is to approach Krishna. But when one has a little bit of knowledge, he realizes that why ask for something material from the Lord? Why get something material from the Lord? Why not get the highest thing? Krishna is offering the highest thing. It's not just offering it, but he's advising that we take it, and abandon all other things, all other lower things. So why not? Why not do that? Take that offer, you know. Let's see. There are many men who practice black art and they think that it is spiritualism, but such activities are completely materialistic. Similarly, a pure devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead only achieves the planets of Vaikuntha and Krishna Loka without a doubt. It is very easy to understand through this important verse that if by simply worshipping the demigods one can achieve the heavenly planets, or by worshipping the Pita, achieve the Pita planets, or by practicing the black arts, achieve the ghostly planets, why can the pure devotee not achieve the planet of Krishna or Vishnu? Unfortunately, many people have no information of the sublime planets where Krishna and Vishnu live. And because they do not know of them, they fall down. Even the impersonalists fall down from the Brahma Jyoti. This Krishna consciousness movement is therefore distributing sublime information to the entire human society to the effect that by simply chanting the the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah, so it's not good enough to just be free of evil spirits, but we want to also be free of birth, death, old age, disease, all these other things. It's not only, it's also not good enough to like get everything that we want to get in a material sense because that won't satisfy us in any way. As it'll all be gone in a blink of an eye. Whether you have $1,000,000 or you have $10, it's all going to be gone, you know. And more or less, the kind of enjoyment that you can purchase with either is the same thing. That kind of enjoyment will also be gone in a second. It's not even that pleasurable either. You know, you can smoke one cigarette or you can smoke 10 cigarettes. What's pleasurable? It's not pleasurable at all. It's not. It just makes you sick, actually. The more you do, the more sick you actually get, you know. So this is horrible. We should get out of this situation entirely, you know. So that's what we can do with this Hare Krishna mantra, though, is that we can actually attain that highest perfection and go back home, back to Godhead. Or we can enjoy eternal bliss, and eternal relationships and eternal variety and blissful variety, is exactly what we're looking for. There's things there too, but those things are eternal and they're of a different nature. They're full of consciousness and full of love of God, full of the highest kind of love and ecstasy. So everything here is pretty much dull and you know full of suffering, and everything there is eternal. It's full of life and it's full of bliss. But we might become captivated by the different enticements of the material world because they are there. For instance, there's many different varieties of planets here in the material world. Krishna was talking about them, planets of the ancestors, planets of the demigods, planets of the ghosts, and different varieties of material enjoyment are present there. There's also hellish planets. There's the subterranean planets underneath the Abhu Mandala, but then even below that are the hellish planets where living entities who have done really horrible things go for specifically to be punished in various ways. And then even above that are the subterranean planets. There's still some semblance of enjoyment there. They have various kinds of technologies. Of course, because it's underneath the Bhu Mandala, the sunlight isn't actually able to get there. So they kind of have everything there is kind of artificial, And the lower subterranean planets is full of Naga snakes, and it's illumined by the jewels on them, and then as one rises up from that, there's like the abode of the demon architect Maya Danava, who's a devotee of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has given him mystical powers of the black arts, and he's there with his disciples, and he's crafting all kinds of technological wonders. And then there's the abode of Bali Maharaj, who's a great devotee of the Lord. He's there. Bhumandala is full of different varieties. Jambudweep, this island, and they have huge fruits there, different kinds of animals and humanoids and different bodies of water. And then above that, you have the heavenly planetary systems, the realm of the ghosts and the spirits. And above that, Swargaloka, realm of Indra and Yamaraj and Agni Dev and different demigods like that. And above that, you have the abode of like the Siddhas and the perfected beings and the four Kumaras. And then even above that, you have Brahma Loka or Satya Loka, which is the highest abode, but Brahma Bhuvana Loka, that from the topmost planet down to the lowest planet, it's all a place of, it's just temporary enjoyment. So we shouldn't really get captivated by this or enticed by this. We should see that it's all the same. If I have something which is nice, but I have to give it up, then it's better not to have it. Then you get attached to it, and it's suffering, so much more suffering. So just by chanting Hare Krishna, the right consciousness, understanding what Krishna is actually trying to give us, and we can take that. Mercy, and we can go back to the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha planets, which are full of unlimited variety, unlimited beauty. So much beauty is there. Whatever beauty can be found in the most beautiful places here on this planet or in the planets of the demigods, it's nothing in comparison to Vaikuntha. Because everything in Vaikuntha is eternal, and it's Satchidananda. It's not made of matter. Everything there is illumined by Krishna's effulgence as well. So imagine how beautiful it is. One is directly in touch with Krishna's effulgence, And not only that, but he's in the residents there are all in the Vishnu forms, four-handed Vishnu forms, and the women there look like the goddess of fortune, and they're all serving the Lord on different planets and different features, And the Lord there is very beautiful. He's got his wonderful, skin color, dark skin color. He's got his reddish lotus eyes and his helmet and his earrings, his wonderful jewelry, and his dhoti, which is like lightning, and his club and his conch shell and all these different things. Imagine how beautiful he is. He's very big and powerful. For denizens there, they worship him in the mood of awe and reverence. But one can advance in their love of God there, and they can go beyond that as well to Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, where the Lord is even more beautiful because he's in this form as a youth, as a youth. So he's got a flute and he's got captivating turbans and a belt, and so many different things. And all his associates are also very beautiful. The gopas, the gopis are very beautiful. The cows, they're engaging in such loving activities, playing with each other in various different ways. The Yamuna, River Yamuna is there. Govardhan Hill is there. Different forests are there. So many different forests in Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan. Let's see, next verse. Anyone have anything, comments or questions? Or?
So if I have want to make a prayer for like something about the mind, so material, uh, what, how could I rephrase that to kind of be like in the direction of something not material, spiritual, not, how can I ask for something spiritual when I'm dealing with my mind is kind of what I'm asking. Like instead of saying like, Krishna, help me with my mind. Because that's a material request, isn't it? So, or is it not? I mean, I really don't know what to think about.
Oh, that's nice. Certainly, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when we pray, the thing about devotional service is that devotional service is like it takes care of everything, so it's nice to turn towards Krishna for whatever we've got, whatever we've got. If it's actually propelling us towards Krishna, then it's nice. But we have to understand like a little of the philosophy of devotional service. If we pray for devotional service, then automatically everything else will be taken care of. You know, devotional service is this unlimited reservoir of nectar, and by accessing that, then everything else is taken care of. Everything else will be taken care of. So it's the highest thing. And when one goes for the highest thing, then he can easily surpass all the other things that are along the way. So you might as well, you know, you might as well. Just like, I mean, it's a kind of an analogy. Like if you're driving, or if you've ever been like on a canoe or something, or whatever, and you generally speaking, wherever you look at, you'll go towards, So if you're driving and you look somewhere, you'll start to go in that direction. And so if you have a particular destination in mind, you know, instead of looking at one of the attractions or something along the way and getting sidetracked and just ending your journey there, if you actually keep your eyes on the destination, then you'll surpass that one, surpass the other ones that might be of interest. So, but we can't pray specifically for certain things for sure. Like the mind is troublesome, and by praying specifically to relieve this troublesome mind, praying for help in this way, then that will do us a lot of good. Well, we understand that the prayer that Prabhupada has given us for chanting Hare Krishna is, please engage me in your devotional service. Because like that, everything else will be taken care of. My backache, my headache, my mind, my desire for money, my desire for fame, my desire for all kinds of different association, my desire for everything. Everything will be taken care of, you know. So no need necessarily to like make a list of things and then pray for them, but just if we can remember that Krishna's service is the highest thing, then we can pray for that And by actually praying for devotional service, you'll bring the mind under control. You know, you will factually. If you pray for devotional service, then the mind becomes, you're engaging the mind in that prayer. You're engaging your intelligence in that prayer, right? So that's the best thing to do. So you'll realize while you're praying for devotional service, actually you've taken care of your mind. Just by doing that, you'll see that, by actually praying. So just that's some thoughts. All right, let's keep going. Translation: If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Purport: Here, Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what types of sacrifices he desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of the Lord, then he should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked for. So nowadays, pretty prevalent philosophy is the philosophy of like nihilism, existentialism, like life is inherently meaningless. Therefore, create your own meaning, create your own meaning. But this kind of thing is very passionate, it's you're refusing to try to see the inherent meaning that's present in life already, actually, because the source of life is personal. God is personal. So then everything and then within reality has some intention. It didn't go unnoticed by the Lord, or it didn't go without the Lord's sanctioning. Therefore, the Lord saw some particular kind of intention, or he had some intention for everything. And once you know what that intention is, then life becomes full of meaning and full of value. And the intention for that is for his enjoyment, his pleasure, his service. So everything. Then we see everything is full of meaning. Everything is full of intention. And what a wonderful reality to be in. You know, everything has value, everything has purpose. And it's not for my own satisfaction. See, that's the thing about these philosophies, is that when you say that life has no inherent meaning, then what that basically means is like, well, I just get to establish my own, I get to use everything for my own sense gratification. Everything is it's for me, and that creates a problem practically, because if everybody believed in that philosophy, and that actually practically everybody does, then so many things, so many problems will be there. So many problems will be there. If everybody's thinking that everything is for me, and we're in a world where actually in reality we have a quota for our prescribed, sense gratification. And if I go above that quota, then there's disharmony, and living entities will suffer very badly because of my bogus philosophy that I'll just inject myself into the center of reality, and I give everything meaning, and it's all for my enjoyment. Well, then, you enjoy at the expense of so many other living entities, because then you go above and beyond your own quota and you take somebody else's quota, and now that person is suffering, and you're suffering too. So today's world is rampant with this kind of philosophy, but Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada are here to dispel that notion. Because the Lord is the only enjoyer, the real enjoyer. He's not He's not limited in any way. See, here we're limited by so many different things. We're curbed down by so many different things. Ignorance, the modes of material in nature, Maya. So many things are curbing us down. We can't practically enjoy. What can we even enjoy? Can't enjoy anything. Eat too much and you get a stomach ache. You go for too long of a run and you get a cramp, or you play too many sports and you break your knee. You wear your knees down. It's like you can't. It's not meant for enjoyment. We're meant to serve. We're meant to serve Krishna. Krishna says we should offer him leaf, a flower, fruit, or water. Meat's not there. We don't have the facilities to enjoy flesh. We don't have any nails or any teeth. We don't have any speed or strength or agility to catch an animal. Don't have that. We have intelligence. And if we go on making weapons to try to kill other living entities for enjoyment, then that intelligence has been stolen by Maya. There's no knowledge there. There may be some intelligence there, because that's the capabilities of the human system, but there's no real knowledge there. Because if one has real knowledge, then he uses his intelligence for Krishna, serving Krishna. And when one is using his intelligence for serving Krishna, he's able to take care of other living entities as well. He's able to be considerate of other living entities. So we can see with this kind of intelligence to enjoy matter, we've created so many problems, so many devices that have just increased the suffering in the world. Slaughterhouses, things like that, things that are increasing the inhospitality of the material world. It's inhospitable. Now, the water is contaminated, the air is contaminated, the food is contaminated, everything is contaminated. So many things are going wrong now because of these bogus philosophies, which boil down to just me having some kind of philosophical justification for doing what I'm doing the horrible things I'm doing. It's ignorance. We should see practically, if you can kill an animal with your fist, okay, then you can eat him. But nobody can do that. Who can do that? Unless they're talking about like a squirrel, But good luck catching him. How are you gonna catch him? You won't be able to catch him. Ken, you have to shoot him. Humans nowadays don't even have the capacity to use like a slingshot, They have to I mean, maybe some skilled hunters, but still. Yeah, you can see how we're not very equipped for this material enjoyment. But what we can do is you can use your intelligence to farm and protect the animals, and do so many nice things. And you can see how good life will be if it's simple and Krishna conscious. We simplify things. Instead of looking at reality and saying, you know what, this is boring. I have to create something for my entertainment. And it'll come at the cost of destroying a lot of valuable things that are valuable to other living entities. But, I don't see any value in this world as it is. I'm going to create some bogus thing. Instead of doing that, one should use this human form of life to understand that actually the way that God has arranged things is perfect. And if we understand that, then we can actually enjoy the material world. Then we can actually do it, because then the material world will be enjoyable. Things will be nice. One will be pleasant. The air will be pleasant. Everything will be pleasant. One can have a nice piece of land, a nice cow, a nice family. Things are in harmony. Animals are satisfied. Humans are satisfied. Then one can actually enjoy this life. So this is the importance of the Bhagavad Gita and why we're trying to spread this message, because this is the only thing that's going to save the world, practically speaking. You know, so many people are addicted to all kinds of sinful activities, and there's no amount of policies or restrictions that you can enforce on them, on people, without giving them something higher. But nobody has that higher thing to offer. You know, nobody has that except for the Krishna consciousness movement. It's the missing puzzle piece. You give people this knowledge, they get a higher taste, you know? Without that, though, there's no hope. There's no hope. And there's no one even qualified to govern anybody, you know? Not without the knowledge of the Gita, not without the knowledge of the inherent uh, intention behind everything. The intention that's there behind all the different classes of men. Krishna says, Chaturvarna Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. And he created these divisions of man for human society. And there's an intention there. You know, it's the Varna Shrama system. It's a system in which people are meant to be uh, engaging nicely in Krishna's service according to their nature, you know, and becoming happy and satisfied with life and full of meaning and purpose. So without that knowledge, there's no hope. So this is the hope that's there. Sometimes the material world seems very hopeless, and it is without this Krishna consciousness movement. Because people won't know the inherent value that's present there. The flowers, the different kinds of living entities, the cows, the bees, the trees. They'll just think that whatever value is there is something material. Oh, the trees provide oxygen. Oh, the bees provide honey for my enjoyment. It's all for my enjoyment. You know, that's very limited sense of value. And so therefore people are dissatisfied and they're trying to create so many different things, so many different problems there. But if one realizes the true value, when he offer this to Krishna, then he can get the real bliss and satisfaction he's looking for, the real meaning he's looking for. Then you don't have to invent so many things, so many different pieces of technology, so many different ways of doing things which are actually against the natural thing. All right, so we'll end there unless anyone has anything.
Hare Krishna. I liked your point about material activities being destructive in nature, because it's not something that we are quick to notice, but we see that with so many types of activities. You know, I'm doing drugs because my thought is I want to enjoy now, and tomorrow's not guaranteed. So to heck with tomorrow, I'll throw it down the toilet. You know, I don't need to live to be old. I just need to have fun right now. And you know, we see so many people that, you know, buy a really expensive car, and instead of thinking, okay, I have a reliable piece of technology, I could use this in Krishna's service or service of my family or whatever, they're thinking, okay, how fast can I drive down the highway, and, you know, how many speeding tickets can I get and possibly wreck my car? And um or like, you know, we see people get very upset when their body doesn't work anymore. They're getting older, they're less attractive, you know, they have physical problems. And whereas the devotee looks at that as just like, okay, that's Krishna's mercy. He wants me to be less attached to my body. You know, I should carry on with my devotional service. You know, the materialist is like, well, heck, how am I supposed to enjoy now? Like, my body's not doing what I want it to do. So, like, these things we have, which we're not guaranteed, we're not, you know, they're not set in stone that we have to have these. We're lucky to have them. As soon as they go away, we're upset. And so just like you were kind of saying, that destructive mentality, you know, I heard a comedian one time making a joke that's probably been made many times before, but about, my friends ask me if I want to go hunting. And, I'm all, don't care about PETA, don't care about animal rights. I'm like, yeah, kill them all. But my thought is like, why would I go hunting? I drive past a grocery store 10 times a day. Like, there's no joy. I'm going to go do something that's like, kind of like you were saying with the slingshot. Like, okay, we're trying to put ourselves in the mentality of this person that wants, the challenge. I'm going to go, be like my ancestors. I'm going to go hunt. And then he goes out there with the biggest gun possible, with as much ammunition, and he puts a salt block so the animal comes right to him, and he's sitting there with his Pepsi and his chewing tobacco, and he's like, oh boy, I'm gonna have a good day now. And there's so much work involved. He gets the animal, is he successfully kills it, and now he has to go get his hands dirty and blood and make sure he's got gloves while he cleans all that up. And like, where's the joy? So yeah.
One's intelligent. He's just thinking, I want to have fun, not just today, but tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. But I'm getting my source of fun from this temporary thing, and it's not going to last me that long. So then what to do? But so take up Krishna consciousness, because then you can have fun tomorrow, next day, next day, unlimitedly, and then the fun grows. And if I ever finding ourselves in a position where we're not having fun in Krishna consciousness, because we're not in Krishna consciousness, because we're taking shelter of the mind and the body, and the mind and the body are kicking us, and then we have to realize, oh, okay, I have to take shelter of Krishna. So, anyways, thank you for the nice comment, Prabhuji. That was great. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, ki jai.